Hello and welcome to the ASB Investment Podcast, the show that keeps you up to date on the markets and helps you make smart choices with your investments. These are entirely our own views and that of our guests. It's not investment advice, but we know plenty of experts at ASB that will be happy to chat if you need. Well, welcome to the latest edition of the ASB Investment Podcast, the show that helps to improve your understanding of what's going on with your KiwiSaver, your investments, all the numbers you hear that influence which way your mortgage or term deposits are heading. Today we have a very special guest on the show for the first time, Victoria, or Vic Harris. She's the co-founder of The Curve, a platform for women to learn more about money, their money, the money that's already in the bank, the money they want to make, or for the future they want to have. So Vic, how are you? Welcome to the show, and how's your summer been?
Thanks for having me, Nigel. It's nice to be in the ASB studio and on the ASB podcast. Summer has been incredible. I live in London, so I've been escaped
Yes.
London and come all the way to the other side of the world, and couldn't be happier, to be honest. Yeah,
Pretty convincing you're glad to be home.
Yes.
And for the listeners, I guess it's really important. Can you give them a bit of a background to what The Curve is, what your role is with it, and obviously what we talked about before. Why'd you set it up?
Yeah. Look, I wish I had a more kind of strategic answer, that we wanted to set it up to take control of this take advantage of this $84 trillion opportunity. Of
84 trillion?
84 trillion in the wealth transfer.
Okay.
Which is going to be transferred to the next generation, which will be majority women. So I wish I said that was the plan, but kind of wind back a few years. It was about 4 years ago, and I was in the finance industry as a portfolio manager, and I had noticed throughout my entire career, which you'd notice as well. It's just like the lack of females in finance and the finance and banking industry, and so I was like, hang on a second, where are all the women? And then I was the only woman, or the first woman, in all of my teams, which I didn't really notice at first, but then as I progressed, I was like, okay, hang on, where are they? And then at the same time, Sophie, my co-founder of The Curve, she kind of came to me and she was like, Vic, we were in, she was in Sydney at the time. She was like, Vic, I've got a bit of a tax back. I've got a tax refund. And I was like,
Great way to start a conversation.
Yeah. And she was like, it was about $10,000. She was like, yeah. She's like, I'm going to invest this and put it in a term deposit. And I was like, sorry, what?
Yeah.
She's like in her early 20s. And I was like, there's other options, and you're young, and you should be taking a bit more risk and investing in something a bit more, a bit more high returning. And she was like, what do you mean? And so it started this whole conversation of, how do you not know the basics of investing?
That you just know.
That I just knew because I was in the industry and and I'm becoming living and breathing it. And then also she was like, well, what do you mean? There's a whole world I don't know. And so it kind of started this organic conversation. At the same time, I had so many other friends like Sophie. And so it was like, hang on, why is there nowhere that I can direct my friends and my community to go to? Also, there must be so many other women out there that don't have someone like me to go and ask those questions, and they're feeling stupid and vulnerable, and so they just don't ask them.
Yep.
So we were like, let's record this conversation. And so we literally jumped into a studio just up the road here actually, and started talking about the basics of investing. And like, we're talking about what is a stock, what is a fund, what is compound interest, diversification, all those really key terms. And we were just like blown away at how many people wanted to listen to us talking. And
so she's a content creator. And you're the finance side.
Yes.
I say finance, not finance.
Finance.
Yeah.
Yes, I am the finance brains, and she is the content brains. So putting that together, we wanted to make learning about this stuff fun and easy, because the last thing you want to do at the end of a workday is to come home and learn Finance 101.
Not for some
Sorry,
people.
some people do. I would. But a lot of people out there.
It's the last thing.
Yes. Yeah, and you've got busy lives and all of that. And so we're like, how do we make it fun? And so we injected a bit of our lives in it, and we tried to make it really fun and also make people realize it doesn't have to be explained in really confusing terms. You know, we can talk about different investing concepts without it being super, super confusing. And so
with humour and a bit of like, it's okay to ask 101 questions.
And kind of Sophie really brought that element to it in terms of, she would say to me, oh, is it like this? And I'd be like, yes, of course. It's as easy as that. Yet I'd kind of been explained that explained to me in a really finance way. So I was kind of learning to break down the way I explain things. And then from there, we started having events, which were quickly from 30 to 250 people almost overnight. Then lovely COVID hit, so that kind of squashed that idea.
Yeah.
And then we pivoted to online courses, and now we've started this investing club, which we are actually launching this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know when this podcast comes out.
Now-ish.
So if you're listening to this, it's launched, which is, again, just we wanted to create the most supportive and inclusive club, because we felt that finance has been an exclusive club for so long. So we wanted to create a really supportive and inclusive club where you can come in and ask questions and have that community of women around you that can answer those. I'm in there as well. The Curve team's in there answering questions, and just talk about what's going on in the world from an investing standpoint.
And at the end, we'll make sure Vic is able to give, point people in the right direction of where to go to get more information. But I just want to, before we get into the questions, I just wanted to recognise we had Vic down at an event we hosted at the tennis this summer with clients, and they, again, I'd mentioned at the time, hopefully I did, but they loved hearing from you, and especially that wealth transfer thing. A lot of them, I guess, were slightly older, but they're probably thinking about kids.
Yeah.
But I wanted to call out, that based on that audience reaction, listeners today are going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So they'll learn a lot.
Yeah. No, I'm sitting here going, where is the wealth transfer for me? Where's my...
Right.
I'm kind of sitting here going, Mum and Dad, where's that 84 trillion that I'm supposed to...
Okay. Well, they've got a good home for it if they find it.
Yeah, that's on mass. Yeah.
So let's kind of go to the basics first. What does it mean to be this financially fit term? We hear it thrown around, but can you measure financial fitness?
Yeah, there's so many kind of buzzwords about financial well-being, financial independence, but it's like, what does it mean and when am I there? And I think the best way to know if you're there is it's the feeling of not living paycheck to paycheck. It's the feeling of having that flexibility, that financial flexibility, that if an emergency happened, it doesn't throw you into a spiral of financial stress and doesn't really throw you. It's having a clear plan, having those reserve funds in place, so that if something happens, if there is a rainy day, that you can actually access those funds. So in order to do that, though, you have to have a plan. And so it doesn't matter if you're on, if you're earning $1,000 a month or $100,000 a month. Yeah, it's like you still have to have a plan, and it's all about having your spending less than your income. That's all it is. And even if you're just starting with putting aside kind of $1 into an emergency fund, out of your paycheck, that's better than nothing. So it's just it's also like just starting somewhere, and not a lot of people think of investing or having financial independence or freedom or whatever you want to call it, like, is just quite overwhelming.
And I need a massive chunk of cash
it's like,
to start.
It's what I should do when I'm rich. And it's like, no, it's how you get rich. And it's like kind of just breaking down those misconceptions, I guess, of, looking at your financial situation now and, how can I be not living paycheck to paycheck? And for a lot of people that might be quite difficult, but it's putting those little steps in place to make sure that you're not doing that for the rest of your life. Starting to put those little steps in place to actually improve that.
And I guess apart from the paycheck to paycheck part, what would you say the other key benefits, of it? I guess why would people really care enough to make an effort to get there?
Well, for everyone, there is going to be a period of your life where you won't be working. And that's...
Really? I thought I was working till the end.
Well, some people,
yes.
that actually might be a true fact. But for most of us, there will be a period in our lives where physically we cannot work anymore, no matter what kind of job. And so it's preparing for that, and also preparing for if that happens a lot sooner than you realize for whatever reason. Like there's...
Life can
give you... roller coaster around, whatever analogy you want to use. And so it's realizing that life doesn't go to plan. So the best thing you can do is have a plan that helps you navigate that as best you can. Well, that was a bit of a rhyme, wasn't it? That was unintentional.
You can keep use it on the Curve. But for the Curve community, would you say it's mostly people asking about that, like retirement, or is their first home, like, and saving for that?
Yeah, it's funny. it's funny. We used to do a lot of talks about retirement, and honestly,
in-person talks,
talks, online, anything. Yeah, we used to do a lot of educational content on retirement, and you could see people's eyes glaze over. You know, we're talking to 20 to kind of 40-year-olds, and especially the younger end of the spectrum, they're like, retirement? Who cares?
It is a foreign concept.
Yeah, and it was actually, I was on holiday one year, and I was like, oh, this is what retirement would be like, because you're not earning, but you're spending money. And so it was this, I took this kind of back to Sophie, and I was like, we should rephrase retirement as your 20-year holiday, because 20 years is the average that you have in retirement.
Yep.
And so when we started talking about that, we got a lot more interest from the younger generation in terms of what kind of 20-year holiday do you want? Do you want one where you're at home and you have no money to do anything? You can't visit friends and family. Yeah. You can't go live
it's last few years. Like the Sunday hangover for 20 years where you just can't
do you want to be able to travel to the Mediterranean and drink cocktails or be in a really nice retirement home, or, you know, like just have those choices. And so when we rephrased it like that, because you know, you've got to figure out how much you'll need each year for the lifestyle that you want and work backwards. And so, when we started rephrasing like that, we got a lot more attention. But to your question, it is most people that we are talking to, it is that owning your first home. And that's New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
You know, New Zealanders are so fascinated with owning their first home and owning property. And so for a lot of people, it's how do I maximize my Kiwi saver? Or how do I maximize my savings to get a deposit to buy a house?
Yeah.
And that's fine, because that you're still
building
wealth to a certain goal to diversify into another asset, and then you should start thinking about retirement. So
Yeah, and I guess if you're providing you want to own a house, if you know, it's probably good to knock that off, and then so you're not worried about renting and being moved and stuff, because that can all, I guess, that roller coaster thing, right?
Yes, and you're building a deposit to create wealth in another asset eventually over time. So it's a stepping stone. It's a different way of getting there. But yeah, for some people, those short-term goals are a lot more easy to visualize than the retirement goal.
Yeah. Especially if you're young enough maybe that your parents haven't even retired.
Yeah.
And they're still in the work, so it's an ultra foreign concept.
Yeah. And for a lot of people that are just, you know, particularly in your 20s, when you know, your biggest concern is kind of your friends going on a group holiday in a couple of months. Yeah. You're not sitting there going, sorry guys, I'm actually saving for my retirement. Because like, which I would love to hear come out of more 20-year-olds' mouths. But no, it's finding that balance as well. Definitely, of like, okay, I want to live now while I don't have what might be a mortgage and kids and responsibilities like that.
Yeah.
And I'm probably earning a salary, you know, that I can do those things with, but then also putting aside money. We had a really great statistic that's something like, if you're in your 20s, in order to be a millionaire when you retire, you've got to save about 2% of your salary. That's taking average
salary growth and stuff. Yeah.
Whereas if you're in your
40s or
50s, it's about 20% or over 20%. So if you can start putting away 2% in your 20s, you know, 2% is way less impactful than 20%. Yeah. So it's kind of finding what that tipping point is for that young person and being like, what is going to make you realize if you start now, you're going to be in a far better position. Yeah. And
I guess you were talking earlier about when Sophie came to you about, you know, the invest it in a TD.
Yeah.
You know, to talk about investing, where does investing fit into the financial, you know, fitness process? We've got 500,000 KiwiSaver customers, investors in other products. You know, what should they or your listeners be focusing on when it comes to investing and I guess setting themselves up for this year, if not ordinarily?
I think investing is so great because it's like this little friend that is out there working while you sleep. It's growing your money while you sleep. Instead of you being at work 9 to 5 every day, getting your income, getting your salary, it's this other person that's out there helping you as well. And so...
Has that message resonated really nicely?
A little bit. Yeah, it's working.
I like it.
Yeah. And so it's like having this extra income on the side, essentially, that's growing.
Side hustle.
Yeah, and the more you feed it, the harder it works. So it's like... So that's the kind of concept where we're trying to feed into our audience. But I think Sorry, what was the question was around the 500,000 KiwiSaver. How
or your community. I guess what are the key things they should focus on for, I guess for this year ordinarily with, the key messages around investing as such.
I think it starts small. Don't think of, the number of questions we get from people being like, oh, I need to save X amount before I start investing. Or,
I know.
And it's like, no, you don't. Like, we've got such great platforms out there now where you can start, investing with as little as $1.
Yes.
Sounds like an infomercial.
Well, we never like 15, 20 years ago, we didn't have that, but now it's all.
Exactly. Yeah. And you did have to save a certain amount to start investing, whereas you don't now. If you're not in KiwiSaver, honestly, I cannot stress enough how important KiwiSaver is to retiring.
And contributing, obviously.
Yeah. And contributing. And also, if you've kind of taken a saving suspension or, you've taken a step away from contributing to a KiwiSaver, just check and make sure that's still the right thing to do because, again, you're not getting – you're losing that 3% if you're contributing as well as the 3% from the employer. So just make sure, this is a really great time. I know there's the whole New Year, New Me, New Year's resolutions and all that, but – honestly, use this time to almost do a financial warrant of fitness and have a look at your finances and go, okay, cool. Could I contribute a bit more to my KiwiSaver? Or could I, do I have enough in my emergency fund? And just kind of take, honestly, which would be like maybe a couple of hours to sit down and could be so helpful for you in, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years to come.
And maybe do it in the time of the day where you're not just exhausted.
Yeah, make it fun. Put on good music. Get a glass of wine. I don't know. Make it fun and exciting.
Do you guys get many people within your community that are not in KiwiSaver at all?
There is a few.
Yeah. I guess if they're coming to you, they probably at least think or they've got that in place.
Most people have KiwiSaver. They just don't know where it is. Don't really know what it is, but they maybe signed up when they joined their first job.
Your mum and dad did, or
and then now they have no idea where it is. It's probably in a default fund, or in a really low risk fund generating a low return. And so it's particularly around KiwiSaver. I would take this time of year to check. Okay, can I be contributing more? What am I contributing? Could I contribute more? Where is my money? Where you can check through the IRD or probably search somewhere in your emails. There'll be some kind of
statements and things.
Some statements, and check what fund you're in because if you've got kind of more than 5 or 10 years until you retire, you should be in those higher growth, higher risk funds. So you should
do your own advice.
Generally speaking, and our audience is on the
younger side, of course.
Younger side. So we're saying, and we had I remember I had this lady email a while ago and she was like, oh, Vic, thank you so much for the education on KiwiSaver. I've moved my money from a conservative fund to a growth fund, but it was still in a default fund that was wasn't very good returns. Okay. Let's put it that. So I was like, hang on a second. I was like, that's really well, like you've done the first step, amazing, and you're going to be in a way better position. But if have you looked at these other options? Because if you choose some of these, you're going to have an extra 700,000 when you retire. And like just by me giving her that extra bit of information, she was just like, oh my gosh, how have I never known this? And so it was just taking that time to, and there's great platforms out there to compare KiwiSavers, but
it's the stuff that you just know innate.
Yeah, and
that someone else is life changing.
Yes, definitely. And so it's just also just talk to people. Yeah, it might seem like a boring conversation, but just ask your friends. What KiwiSaver are you in, or what return are you getting? And that's what we're trying to do at the Curve as well. Just make it normal talking about money. So
if you so on the rare occasion someone might not have any friends, they're looking for a community of like-minded individuals.
Yes.
There could be one out there that they could talk to.
There could be, yes. Okay. One thing I would also say is don't compare yourself with others. So when you're doing this kind of financial warrant of fitness, everyone is on their own financial journey. And from the outset, it might look that this person's absolutely killing it. Yeah. The car they drive, the house they're in, the clothes they're wearing, whatever. But it's just everyone is on their own journey. And so you never know what kind of income or expenses someone have. Someone could be looking after family members as part of their expenses, and they'll have a completely different financial plan to you. And so it's so hard in this day and age, though, to not compare ourselves to others and, to want that instant gratification. But yeah, it's just that the more that you can realize that you're on your own financial journey.
Yes, and making you happy and content and safe.
And you've got your goals and what you value and what you spend your money on, and be content with that, the far better off you'll be.
Yeah, I mean, the year that's just gone, you sort of, one thing that I've taken through to it is kind of, you never know what S word someone has going on in their own life.
100%.
Like, it could be, like, everyone's dealing with their own things. Their financial plan will be set up in and around that. I had a conversation with my friend last night around, are you doing anything with everything that's going on in the market at the moment? And I said, you're doing a few things. And then he said, I haven't got the capital to do anything. And I was like, what? Don't feel like I'm moving massive amounts around. There's like in some instances there was like $20.
Yeah.
But I feel, so it's not like I'm moving massive deal size, but you're just doing something.
Yes.
And you got your little plan, you feel active and you feel like you're in control.
Yes, it's being in control, I think, is the key one. I remember I went to a talk with Scott Galloway, who's
Professor Scott Galloway.
Yeah, he's such a brilliant speaker.
Yeah.
And I was a big fangirl moment. And so.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, he said that he's got friends. He's got one friend in particular who earns, it's something like $2 million a year.
Yeah.
But he's got the most flash house. He's got a massive expensive house.
So lifestyle creep.
Huge upkeep as well. He's got 3 kids. He's got, his outgoings are about $2 million as well.
Yeah.
And he's like, then he's got his dad who earns about $40,000 a year, but his outgoings are about $10,000, and he is far more wealthy than this guy. Yeah. And it was just like, but from observation, you would think that the person earning $2 million has got her life sorted.
Yeah.
And
have you seen that clip from Billions?
Oh,
where what they're 2 hedge fund managers, the big star of it's talking to the other guy, and the other guy comes to him and goes, a hedge fund's over or whatever, and I'll be okay though, because I'll be able to sort of clip about 50 million a year. And then the other hedge fund titan talks to him and goes, "You're effectively broke." And he runs through all of the like your driver's $1 million a year, and he goes, "I am broke," and it's just your lifestyle creeps to you.
Oh, 100%. Lifestyle creep is. Yeah, it's real, and it's like the more that you can keep your own cost base, your own expenses, your own personal expenses down, and have that gap between your income and your spending, the far better off you be. Because like we just coming back to what we talked about before, you never know when you might not be able to work, and so if that tap turns off, but you've still got all this water running out, it's like even
if the tap's turned off for like a small period, you've got a nice little buffer there.
Yeah.
So for the year ahead, I guess for people, wherever they are on their investment journey, notwithstanding this isn't personalised advice, but any I guess tips that you would give people, particularly after an event for 2024, it's looking like an event for 2025, what would you say to them to help them out?
Yeah, I think kind of coming with what I said before, life never goes to plan. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of friends, and 2024 was a tough year. And, it's also being a bit compassionate on yourself and being, if you're not where you wanted to be financially last year because of, there was a lot of, we had inflation, we had high interest rates, we had all of that going on. It's like,
it's all good.
It's all good. Yeah. It's kind of, a year or 2 in the scheme of things is fine. If you've made a really bad investment decision or, you invested in something that didn't go well, it's like, that's fine. It's like, let's start fresh, look at this year with kind of a fresh set of eyes, and what can we do from here? And I remember that was kind of some advice I got when I was investing and managing clients' money. And I'd get really down about investments that maybe didn't go too well, because you're dealing with other people's money, and it was, and you had to kind of. I remember one of my managers kind of was like, "Vic, just zoom out. Like, let's say you're looking at this this investment you're coming at it, you've never seen it before. Don't look at the fact that the share price has completely fallen. Would you buy or sell now?" And it's kind of having that, just kind of removing the emotion and being like, okay, this is my situation now, or this is my investment now. What should I be doing from here? Not kind of dwelling on the past, I think.
You don't have to make it back the way you lost it. Yeah.
And kind of dealing with money is emotional, but one thing I've tried to learn is if you can remove as much emotion as possible, it'd be so much easier.
Because the last major question before we get into the recommendations, but you talked earlier about, spending habits as one of the most critical things, for being financially fit and understanding them. As an example, when I go into the garden centre, I always go in for one thing and I end up walking back out with like a full trolley.
Yeah.
It's like one plant. You came in for one plant, Nigel.
You're quite a plant guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm quite a gardener.
Yeah.
I just bought...
That's me at the groceries, but not at the plant centre.
Right.
I'll go in for one thing and then not get a basket even, and I'm kind of dropping the eggs.
Just fresh raspberries.
Yeah.
God, why did I need those edible flowers?
Yeah. And then $150 later, oh, cool, I've got two things.
Well, I'm not sure what at Pack and Save costs that, but what can we learn from tracking our spending, I guess? And how does it actually help?
I think you can't monitor what you don't measure, and so this whole I need to be better with money, or I need to save more. You need to have tangible. If you want to have a goal, it needs to be like tangible. I want to save X amount this year.
Yeah.
I want to save $1,000 this year. Okay, and then you have to have a plan of how you're going to get there, and so. I hate saying the B word, budgeting. Everyone's just like, oh, that sounds so restrictive. But honestly, it can actually be really, really empowering. Knowing that you're on track to a certain financial goal, that your budget is your plan to get there, can be
liberating.
It can be liberating, and flip it. Don't make it restrictive. Make it, no, I'm choosing not to spend money on this because I'm choosing to spend money I'm choosing for this goal, which is this. And it's reframing things like if your friends ask you out for dinner and you're like, oh gosh, that's not in my budget. It's like, reframing being like, hey, should we go for a walk instead? Or I'll meet you afterwards for a drink instead of dinner. And, because as humans, we really crave that kind
social
of community, feeling included. We don't want to be exiled.
Comparison.
And so it's making sure that you're still getting that kind of connection with friends and family without having to blow your budget. And so, or being like, I'm not spending money on that today, rather than I can never do that, or I can't afford it. It's like reframing. I'm choosing not to spend money on that today, or I can't afford that yet. Little things like that. Talking to yourself in a more positive way can really, really help. But it's having a budget and having a plan has been absolutely game changing for myself.
I was going to say, so for you, you practice what you preach.
Definitely. And I think it changes every year. You know what I mean? Like I definitely sit down at the beginning of each year and kind of reset my budget for the year, because my income might change. I might have taken on more debt, or have a different goal, or use some of my emergency fund, all of that. So, it does change. And there's little things like doing, like I talked about the Warren of Fitness. There's little things you can do each year as well, like calling up your electricity provider, for example, and being like, hey, what deals do you have on this year? Ooh. Or what, like just doing a little bit of an audit on your insurance, your phone, your electricity, like all that stuff.
Yeah, the subscription stuff.
It's all the 1%ers that add up to actually moving the needle. And it might be only $10 there or $20 there, even $1 or $2 there. But if it all adds up, then you can actually achieve your goals much faster. So definitely having a plan. And if this was the year that you're like, look, okay, this year I'm gonna do a budget.
Yeah.
But there's so many great tools out there that aren't overwhelming, and it's just kind of finding one that suits you.
And you're not advocating for people to do like the FIRE method, where you're almost living by baked bean to baked bean can.
No. I mean, if that's kind of what you want to do, then that's fine. And some people have way more audacious financial goals, and therefore, have to adjust their lifestyles and their spending.
Correct, yeah.
But also, if you can start to see progress, and also reward yourself when you get to certain milestones, so that you want to keep going, and it is motivating. Don't have, I want to save $100,000 by the end of the year when you're only earning $50,000, and be realistic as well, because otherwise, I just build build capital for the sake of it, because I love it. Whereas my wonderful wife is more the incentive thing, like save a little bit and then get rewarded for that good behavior. So one final question I had, are you you and Sophie advocates for the save first, like from that weekly, monthly, fortnightly paycheck, and then budget, or is it kind of not that? No, we budget the saving or the investing part into the budget.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Because honestly, and I'll put my hand up and say that I'm guilty of this. it's like there's definitely months when you are like, oh, I'll invest next month. I'll invest next month.
Yeah.
And then it's been a few
It's
years.
December.
Yeah.
It's gone. Yeah.
I remember I switched off my KiwiSaver when I was younger because I wanted that extra 3% coming into my bank account.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'll only do it for, I think it was about 6 months or something. And then I literally was like, oh my goodness, it's been 3 years and I haven't,
Yeah.
and I was just so annoyed with myself.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to do that with investing as well. It's like, oh, I'll do that next month. So if you do that first, you automatically adjust your lifestyle and your spending.
Yeah, sure.
Because
Yeah.
you've only got what's left. So, and whether that investing part, whether it's like, say it's 10% of your monthly paycheck, whether that's it might be going to pay off debt. That's still getting ahead.
Yeah.
It might be.
It's investing. It's another.
Yeah, it's like we talk about this bucket of whether it's you're paying off debt, you're building your emergency fund, or you're investing. And so the first one is build your emergency fund,
Yes.
then pay off debt, then
Sure.
invest. So
Yeah, very similar to I think what ASB advocates for.
Yeah.
And finally, just to talk about resources and any recommendations you have. So ASB, we've got financial wellbeing tools, things like spend tracker, card tracker for all the subscription type things, support finder if you're looking to see what support is out there that the government provides, for instance. I guess, do you have any suggested favourites out there, whether it's provided by the Curve or elsewhere?
Yes. Our podcast, I'd have to.
Funnily enough.
This podcast.
Yeah.
No, honestly, what I have really noticed in the last couple of years is the increase in resources available and resources that talk to the everyday person as well.
Yeah.
Not just very financial
massive Excel,
jargon.
yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I know ASB's got a ton. There's some great kind of KiwiSaver comparison websites that also have KiwiSaver calculators, like Sorted is another one. Yeah, they're great. There's also kind of Money Hub as well, which has got great resources. We've got incredible resources on our website, thecurveplatform.com. We've got blogs that we talk about. We get guests on talking about their situations as well, financial situations. And our podcast is great as well. So I think it's finding what resonates for you and what speaks to your language. We kind of talk about it like a yoga class. You might go to a yoga class and be like, I hate that teacher, but don't give up on yoga completely.
Yeah.
Go find another teacher that actually that you like and appreciate.
And I would say, especially for like your podcast, I can imagine would be just listen to it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to feel the pressure to understand everything you're saying, but just put it on the background, and eventually after a year you'll be like,
yeah. And Sophie is case in point of that.
She holds you to account on terms and explain
and
it.
she knew absolutely nothing when we started the Curve, and now there's sometimes I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you really
like a proud mother.
Yeah, I am. I'm like a proud mother. I'm like, oh gosh, now we need to find another Sophie for all those people that are joining us now.
Yeah.
But it is learnable. It's like it is so learnable, and you just start with taking those small steps, like start listening, start educating. And then eventually you'll get to a point where you're like, okay, cool, now I feel confident to just start doing like $1, and start with that. And then, I think the more that you kick the can down the road,
the harder it is.
The harder it is, and the more it's going to stress you out.
Yeah.
When you get closer to that retirement.
Best time to start was yesterday, and the second best is
today.
There you go. Okay, we're singing from the same song sheet. So we're at the end of the main questions. Vic, thank you for your time today. I knew it was going to be a wonderful conversation, especially before you head back to the UK. We were talking earlier, you might be here next summer. So
back-to-back summers, trying to.
Just the endless summer. One last question we ask all guests. Have you got something you're currently reading, watching or listening that you'd recommend?
I am a big non-fiction reader. Like I only read like finance books, biographies.
It's like looking into a mirror.
Yeah. But I'm now saying this. I have picked up this summer. I was like, you know what? I think I need to just try
fiction.
Yeah, just try kind of relaxing my brain and seeing what happens. And so I've picked my first fiction book in a long time, and it's The Year of the Locust.
Okay.
It's the kind of I Am Pilgrim 2.0, which
I don't know either.
It's an incredible.
Sounds very literary.
It's like CIA agent. So it's
wow.
Yeah. So I say fiction, but it's still quite heavy. Okay. But it's CIA agent in the desert kind of vibes, but it's great.
And you recommend it?
Yeah, I would recommend it definitely.
And it's helped you detach a bit, or
it's just helped me relax a bit. and detach from being a consumed world of investing and money and all that. But if you want any money book or investing book recommendations, I am all here.
Okay, I'll pick that up after. My two things were just, I finished reading the new book by Bob Woodward, which was War.
Yep.
So I was writing this down, I was kind of going, it sounds very somber to mention, but it just, if you're looking to see what the last 4 years of the US presidency was all about, it's got an insight, like, I don't know how they get access to these conversations.
I love that you're reading that now with everything that's going on in the world. It's like, let's double down on different presidents and what they bring to the world. You know, let's not just live it and breathe it. Let's read it too.
Oh, I'm full immersion. There's no jumping out. And the other one I was just going to reference was just, I don't know whether you watch it, The Block. And my wife just finished the Aussie 20th season. The only reason I was going to mention it was, I don't know, like, they all make so much money. And the Kiwi one just doesn't seem to be as successful. But these things are just outrageous houses. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know if I'd be wanting to purchase a house that's been rushed and every room is a competition.
No, that's an interesting take.
Yeah. And every room's a competition. So you've got one green room, one floral room, one, but I mean.
Well, one dude purchased them all, apparently.
Yes, I saw that.
As one does.
That's a bit of a
flex?
Yeah, that's the word.
I think he wears a cheese cutter and drives a Lambo.
Oh yes, and he got the Lambo
you know more than I do.
Craned, and he lives in Australia?
Yes,
he got the Lambo craned into his apartment in Melbourne.
Well, okay.
As a bit of a stunt. So I think that is a great example of, I'd love to know what his outgoings are.
Yes, I wonder if he's living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. Okay, so Vic, thanks so much for joining us today. I want to make sure you can leave listeners with what they can hear more from you and Sophie. So what would you say is the best bit to find out more? Go to a website?
Yep, go to our website, thecurveplatform.com, or our Instagram, which is The Curve Platform, and we have, we've just launched our investing club, which is, and there's also a 7-day trial, so you can jump in, have a look around, see if it's for you. But there's an incredible community of women in there. There's video content, there's educational content. We talk about stocks. We talk about there's an online course in there. It's
Love it.
Something for everyone. If you're a beginner or if you kind of already know your stuff. So
anyone who says they know all this stuff doesn't.
Exactly.
Okay, so I reckon you can go to thecurveplatform.com. It's world. It's global now. So if you're ready to get financially fit, remember, start with a plan, stick to your goals, build a habit, and use the tools at your disposal. Until next time, happy investing, and it's bye for now. Thanks for listening to the ASB Investment Podcast. If you have any thoughts on this episode, or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss on a future show, get in touch with us at podcasts@asb.co.nz.